Let me paint you a vivid picture. Imagine you're sitting in a chair, securely strapped in, while sophisticated monitors track every fluctuation of your anxiety with perfect accuracy. Beneath you, a trapdoor, and below that, a tank filled with hungry, circling sharks. You're completely safe in this moment, but then I deliver the terrifying condition. If your anxiety reaches level 6, I'll have to drop you into the shark tank. So whatever you do, don't get anxious. What happens next is predictable yet heartbreaking. You try with all your might to stay calm. You white-knuckle the armrests, hold your breath, and repeat desperate mantras. Don't panic. Don't feel anxious. Stay calm. But with each passing second, your heart pounds louder. The monitors creep from level 4 to 5, and then click, drop, splash. Here's the crucial truth. No ethical person would ever put you in this situation. Yet every single day, millions of people do this exact thing to themselves. Whether it's anxiety, chronic pain, depression, panic disorders, or overwhelming emotions, we become both the prisoner and the jailer in this psychological trap. This video will illuminate why our instinctive reactions often make emotional suffering worse. More importantly, in the following 2 videos, we'll explore life-changing skills to break free from this cycle, process emotions healthfully, and cultivate genuine peace and happiness. And if this episode resonates with you, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and share. That one small action can help this message find someone else who's silently struggling. The emotional paradox. Why fighting feelings backfires. I know this struggle intimately. Years ago, while living abroad in Argentina, I experienced a sudden, debilitating anxiety attack. One moment I was going about my day normally. The next, I was gripped by overwhelming nausea and uncontrollable shaking. My mind raced. What's wrong with me? Am I sick? How will I handle my important meetings today? The more I fought these sensations, the more intense they became. It wasn't until a compassionate friend sat with me, offering gentle presence rather than solutions, that the storm began to calm. The nausea and shaking weren't signs of illness. They were my body's dramatic way of expressing pent-up stress and fear. This experience taught me a vital lesson. Emotions operate by a cruel paradox. The more vigorously we resist them, the more powerful they grow. It's like being caught in quicksand. Our instinct is to struggle, but that only makes us sink faster. Our society teaches us terrible emotional habits. From childhood, we hear, "Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. Just get over it already." Look on the bright side. While temporarily suppressing emotions can be necessary, like a first responder compartmentalizing during a crisis, making this our only strategy is disastrous. Research shows police officers, trained to constantly suppress emotions, experience alarmingly high rates of alcoholism, divorce, and suicide. The truth is simple yet profound. Emotions demand to be felt. When we consistently ignore or suppress them, they don't disappear. They mutate into more destructive forms: addictions, chronic pain, or explosive outbursts. The 7 self-sabotaging emotional habits and how to recognize them. After years of clinical practice and personal experience, I've identified 7 common ways we unintentionally amplify our emotional suffering. 1. Moralizing emotions, the good/bad fallacy. We create unnecessary suffering by labeling emotions as positive or negative. Anxiety becomes bad, happiness good. But consider, healthy guilt motivates us to make amends. Appropriate fear keeps us safe. Constructive anger fuels necessary change. The real issue isn't the emotion itself, but how we relate to it. 2. The clenched fist approach. This includes physically tensing against feelings, clenched jaw, held breath, mental resistance, "I won't feel this." Emotional numbing, zoning out, dissociating. One client triggered panic attacks by fiercely fighting tears. Only when he learned to soften into emotions did the panic subside. 3. Bargaining with the universe. The mental loop of, "Why is this happening to me? This isn't fair. I can't handle this." While human, this mindset keeps us stuck in victimhood rather than solution finding. 4. The shame spiral. I shouldn't feel this way. What's wrong with me? I'm weak for struggling. Shame acts like emotional gasoline. It intensifies whatever fire is already burning. 5. Catastrophizing, the what-if disaster reel. A minor sensation triggers elaborate doom scenarios. Twinge in your side, do I have cancer? Mild anxiety, what if I panic during my presentation? This mental habit trains your brain to treat every discomfort as an emergency. 6. The hypervigilance trap. Constantly monitoring. How bad is my anxiety right now? Is the pain getting worse? This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. What we focus on expands. 7. The exhausting distraction dance. Endless scrolling, overworking, overscheduling. Anything to avoid stillness where feelings might surface. Test yourself. If sitting quietly for 5 minutes feels unbearable, distraction is likely your primary coping mechanism. The liberating alternative, dropping the rope. Imagine a grueling tug-of-war with a terrifying monster, your difficult emotions. You're pouring all your energy into resisting, certain that if you stop pulling, you'll be dragged into an abyss of despair. Here's the revolutionary truth. The monster only has power because you're pulling. Asterisk asterisk, when you drop the rope, the struggle ends. This doesn't mean giving up. It means stopping the futile fight so you can use your energy more wisely. In our next session, we'll dive into 2 transformative skills. 1. Emotion processing. Healthy, effective ways to move through feelings rather than around them. 2. Willingness. The art of allowing experience without resistance. You'll learn why a client with chronic pain improved more by listening to her body than fighting it, and how another stopped panic attacks by practicing curious observation rather than resistance. A note on self-compassion. If you recognize yourself in these patterns, please understand, you developed these habits because they once helped you survive. There's no shame here. Only an opportunity to learn kinder, more effective ways of being with yourself. The people I work with aren't lazy or weak. They're often trying harder than anyone else to manage their pain. The problem isn't effort, but direction. Like someone furiously pedaling a bicycle with the brake on, we need to release what's holding us back more than we need to push harder. Coming next, practical step-by-step techniques to implement dropping the rope in daily life. You'll discover how to create space between you and your emotions, identify when resistance is making things worse, develop emotional resilience through acceptance, redirect energy toward what truly matters. This isn't about passive resignation. It's about intelligent, compassionate emotional management, the kind that leads to genuine freedom rather than temporary relief. Thank you for tuning in to this mindful episode of Bipolar Talks. We hope this conversation gave you permission to breathe, reflect, and maybe release something heavy. If this episode resonated, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. You never know whose day or life you might change just by sharing this message. Disclaimer. This episode is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for therapy or professional mental health care. Always consult a qualified expert for personal guidance. Your next step. Take a quiet moment to reflect. Which of the 7 patterns do you recognize in yourself? Simply noticing without judgment is the first powerful step toward change. Join me next time as we move from insight to action. Remember, the life you want isn't on the other side of defeating your emotions. It's on the other side of understanding them.